Hey guys, it's Laura. In this video, I want to share my remote yoga teacher training experience with you guys. My husband Alex and I have the perfect opportunity to do our yoga teacher training at home while we're self-isolating. So let me give you some background. Last year, Alex and I decided that 2020 was going to be the year that we finally did our yoga teacher training. We've been talking about doing this for years. So we were planning on doing this in September, and then everybody's world got turned upside down. All of a sudden, many of us began practicing social distancing, working from home, businesses started closing. These are scary times, and there's only so much that's in our control. And that's exactly what I'm trying to focus on. What's in my control? I've been making a conscious effort to stay positive and to enjoy the time that I have at home, because I'm normally traveling for work. Personally, I want to be able to look back on this time and reflect on how much I've grown. A few weeks ago, the perfect opportunity presented itself. Some of our all-time favorite yoga teachers that we originally met in Houston posted on Facebook that they would be leading their own online yoga teacher training, and it was starting in a few weeks. Alex and I specifically talked about doing their teacher training a few years back, but the timing just never worked out. So apparently, because of the situation that we're all in, the Yoga Alliance has temporarily lifted that requirement for in-person training. So for this training in particular, the timing worked out perfectly. All day Saturdays, all day Sundays, we could do that. But it was also made significantly cheaper than the usual yoga teacher trainings. I was 100% sold on this opportunity as soon as I saw it. Alex was a little hesitant, but we did end up Facetiming with the instructors. So I guess we're gonna do it.
Yeah, we're in.
Super excited. We love you guys. And even if you didn't do the training, we'd still love you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Super inspired by you guys. And I love just watching y'all move through life. And it looks like y'all are doing such a great job of it.
Okay, it is finally the day before yoga teacher training. I am really excited, and I am also one of those people, kind of like Hermione Granger, who wants to have all of the books and all of the everything sorted and ready to go. So we have a bunch of required and recommended reading. We've got all of the required books, and we're waiting on a few recommended books, but they'll get here. Also, I know that we're supposed to have a yoga journal, and there will be a lot of note-taking and that kind of thing. So the journal that I chose is huge. But I figured that this would be a really good journal to take notes in, and if we had to draw out anything, there's plenty of space to do it. I'm really excited to be able to share this different perspective. Becket, what was that sound? Okay, as I was trying to say, I'm really excited to be sharing a different perspective because yoga teacher training is normally in person. Ideally, it's in person, but we're going to be doing it remotely, and this is something that doesn't happen. So I'm really fortunate that we're able to even have this opportunity in the first place, and I have just been looking forward to this for so many years. What is kind of weird for me is that for months I have been studying for my personal trainer certification, and I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of ready to start thinking about when I'm going to take my test. But all of the testing centers are closed, and if they're not closed, I feel like they should be closed. But I'm not going anywhere to take a test right now. So I have to kind of put that on hold, but I still have to keep all of that content and information fresh. And then I have yoga teacher training. So I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my day and mentally prepare for teacher training. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Since we were gonna have to be on camera engaged in yoga classes, lectures, and conversation, we decided to transform our living room into a temporary mini yoga studio. It was important to us to have natural light and enough space so that we wouldn't feel crowded. Finally, it was time to get started. We began our first day with a yoga class led by our instructors. While Alex often practices yoga at home, I'm used to going to a studio. And to be completely honest, I usually make up excuses for why I can't or don't want to practice at home. My biggest excuse is that I get too distracted. While this is true, it also doesn't need to be a reason for not trying. While I love and prefer being in a studio, I was beginning to realize that this teacher training was the perfect opportunity for me to stop making excuses and to work through this issue. Of course, our dog Becket wanted to participate. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit that Alex and I were both distracted by Becket. And every dog on our street seemed to decide that Shavasana was a great time to start barking. You can tell Becket was going nuts. I was fully aware all of this was happening, but I was really surprised that it wasn't bothering me in that particular moment. We just finished our first yoga flow and it was wonderful, minus the very end when Becket decided that she was going to start barking nonstop during Shavasana. Thanks for that. But it was pretty cute. She wanted to cuddle up with us. Now you just want to play, huh? So I know I personally struggle practicing yoga when I'm at home just because of all the distractions. So I actually think that this setup is perfect because it's forcing me to confront that and deal with that and get over it. Also, I have to say that I've been really liking having this wide yoga mat so far because Becket will just like come up and lay on it. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. You can tell it's getting a little dirty already, but it's nice that she has a place and I don't have to shoo her away. I can just kind of work around her and it's not a big deal. So I am pleased. The rest of day one involved activities such as setting guidelines and expectations for the students in the training, a lecture about metaphysical theory, and a chance for everyone to get to know each other better. We had to talk about things we wanted everyone in the training to know about us and what we didn't want everyone to know about us. That second task was particularly challenging and emotional for a lot, if not all of us. It really helped break down any walls we had put up and allowed us to feel comfortable opening up and accepting one another. Day one is officially complete. I am utterly exhausted, but I am so happy that we're doing this. I know that we're going to be learning a lot and bring it on. I'll say by 2 or 3, I was starting to get one of those eye strain headache type things, so I put on some blue blockers and that has helped, but I'm going to have to be a little more proactive in the future. I will see you guys tomorrow. I am pretty much done with screens for the rest of the day, I think. See you in the morning. We are in day 2 of teacher training, and one thing that I noticed yesterday was I am super fidgety. I've known this about myself, but it was to the point where, wow, I'm on camera and people are seeing me shift every 30 seconds. So what I'm gonna try today when we have lectures and we're discussing things, I have this kinetic sand, and if you've never played with kinetic sand, it's really fun. But I figured this might be a good way to kind of keep me occupied and focused. Everyone focuses differently, and because focus is something I really struggle with, I have found that if I can keep my hands busy or I can be doing something, I can still pay attention. I can actually pay attention better than if I were just sitting there. So we're gonna give that a try today. While the mornings started off with meditation, journaling, and yoga, the afternoons were primarily lecture-based. On day 2, I wore blue blocker glasses pretty much the entire day and also made sure to shift positions more throughout the lectures. Rather than just sitting on the floor, I sat on the couch, stood up, or bounced on a stability ball. Changing up positions, wearing blue blockers, and having that kinetic sand that I mentioned earlier to fidget with made this a much more enjoyable experience. We've already learned a lot these last 2 days. Metaphysical concepts, some sequencing, practice teaching some basic aspects of standard vinyasa flows, and the mental and physical aspects of something called True North Alignment, which you can see us learning here. I think my favorite takeaway from this first weekend was the concept of breath formula. Basically, you take a breath before you cue a pose. Not only do you get to take a moment to collect your thoughts, but you can also enter a calmer mental state. This is something I'm really excited to practice as I learn to teach, but I also want to use this in my everyday life when I'm talking with friends, family, and even coworkers. We finished the first weekend of teacher training! I'm really happy. I feel very exhausted, but I also feel like I've learned a lot, and I'm excited to do the reading and the homework and all of the things. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks, guys. Bye!